Hi, I'm Diksha. I'm the co-founder of MoiFavs. Originally from Delhi, I've sort of grown up all over the country. And yeah, trying to build something now in Bangalore.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm co-founder of MoiFavs, and I'm from Nagaland, northeast of India. And so yes, we are trying to build something here sitting out of Bangalore.
So we met in 2014 actually, which was when we were part of the founding team of House Joy, and we were both heading sort of different businesses there when we were setting up the company, etc. And I think the interactions actually started at that point of time. We used to discuss a lot of things. We were in a very similar space because that was also sort of delving into lifestyle a little bit. And I think it was somewhere around
16.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah
Around
around
16.
16 we kind of decided that this is the time to kind of take it forward now.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Because when we were working in House Joy, we used to interact a lot with, because she was heading beauty and I was heading fitness.
yeah,
A lot of people in that space,
yeah,
be it the creative backend guys or the influencers.
yeah.
We realized that then the quality is a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
So we thought that it would be a good idea if we can bring all of the amazing people that we keep stalking on Instagram
Yeah.
in one platform. So that was how the whole idea came into form.
Yeah. So if we start off from, of course, there's no dearth of people who are doing stuff in this space.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the things that we were also discussing for a long time, that, does the world really need another beauty and fashion blog? But I think the difference is in the values and the approach.
Yeah.
Because for us, it was never about setting up an editorial team
Yeah.
and kind of telling people what it is that they have to do in their life. It was not about that.
So we didn't start out making a statement.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate fashion and beauty platform. We
Yeah.
didn't start out like that. It's
Yeah.
basically like, okay, we're having a lot of fun having this conversations offline about
Yeah.
things we love in beauty and fashion.
Yeah.
And that includes international brands as well, international people as well.
Yeah.
So then we thought, why don't we bring this discussion online? And that's
Yeah.
where we thought, MoiFavs
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
And like
My
the
favorites.
basic idea is that for us, it is the person that is at the center.
Yeah.
So when we say MoiFavs, it basically says, I mean, what we basically mean by that is our favorite people talking about their favorite stuff. So to answer your question, right, is it Indian, is it international? We don't really make distinctions like that. We actually go by the person. And then once...
Whoever is aligned to the
Yeah,
values.
exactly. Whoever is
Yeah.
aligned to the values. And then whatever they like and whatever
Yeah.
they're talking about, inevitably, it's kind of, it actually makes sense for the entire community. It's not just, there's never really a mismatch in that sense.
We have seen that over the years, because of Instagram, social media, a lot of these people meaning people in the fashion space in India are getting exposed to a lot of the international space as well. So it's basically like, this is Indian fashion versus this is international fashion. I don't think that distinction
doesn't exist anymore.
doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because if you look at a theme also,
Yeah.
so we are like 4 to 5 in Bangalore team, like sitting and like doing the curation and
Yeah.
all of that. But then our editor sits out of Canada, and fashion editor, beauty editor sits out of Canada, fashion editor sits out of Romania. So, but then, like, we're very much aligned in terms of the content that we want to write about, talk about, and the value sets. So, I mean, like, it's basically, yeah. So, I mean, there is no such distinction anymore.
Yeah. In fact, that is like the main point, because see, the inspiration is actually aligned, whether it's international, whether it's Indian, because people are looking at the same stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
They're reading very similar stuff across social media, and that is where we saw the space as well. Because if you look at the usual content that is out there, it's either Bollywood or it's it's something that is so obvious, and people are sick and tired of that. They're sick and tired of wedding couture being the only fashion statement you can make in your life, or Bollywood inspiration. So it's really not about that. It's more a part of your life. It's very much a part of the statement you make every day, and that is the space that we wanted to actually talk about, and that's what we're trying to do. So yeah, I mean, see, first of all, it's like one thing that we were very sure about right at the beginning is that as long as we are putting out content that people are actually going to find useful, it's going to work. So that was something that we actually have always stayed away from what is it that other sites are talking about, what is it that this person
Or
is talking
what is it
about.
that an
Yeah.
18-year-old, 18 to 25-year-old is talking about in
Yeah.
India, or what is it that the fashion community in Bombay or Delhi is talking about? That's not our concern.
Yeah, that's
So
not
we
our
do
concern.
have guidelines like that is like based on our values.
Yeah.
So we have like maybe 2 to 3 guidelines versus like, is it original, is it personal,
Yeah.
is it something that we are genuinely, the team genuinely are excited to talk about. So we
Yeah.
there's like a flood of ideas always coming in, but then we never lose focus because we know that we're writing for ourselves.
Yeah.
And which means it extends to the entire family.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why over like like it's been 7 months, like we pointed out, but now a lot of people are coming in to be featured, wanting to work with us, contribute for us.
Yeah.
And if you look at the people, I mean, like we can like 100% of them
Yeah.
can work with us because we are sending out a very clear message. Because we look at MoiFavs as basically like an online party. So it's basically like you like the crowd, you come and hang out with us.
Yeah. And
So-
I think one distinction that we've always drawn is that just because something is new age, so for example content in India is new age, right, doesn't mean that the basic values of business changes. Like ultimately you have to do things that are of value, and virality are just, these are outcomes. And once you kind of start chasing those outcomes without concentrating on building something that is useful to people like you. So we always say that would Amanda like to read it, would Diksha like to read it, would my would my sister in Delhi like to read it. So those are the kind of metrics that we generally use, because if 5 people, we keep saying that if 5 people who like a particular piece of content, there are chances that it's going to work. So we don't really do a lot of backward trawling of keywords, this, that. We don't do any of that stuff. It's very old school.
that works, maybe that
Yeah.
works for
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
setup, other companies.
We are
But
not
for
the kind
us,
of people
yeah.
for which something like
Yeah.
that would
we will
work,
not be able
actually.
to sustain ourselves
Yeah.
for too long if we follow that approach. Maybe that is working, but I mean, honestly, we think that
Yeah.
it's very, very short term if we just focus
Yeah.
on virality.
Yeah.
So virality, how much are you going to spend on making a viral video? 1 month at least, and then pushing it for at least 2 to 3 months, and then
Yeah.
it goes viral, and then what? I mean, and
Yeah.
after that, you're going to sit and like think about the next big idea. That's not how we work. It's all about being instant. It's
Yeah.
all about being personal. It's all about being relevant, like coming up
Yeah.
with relevant products, content, offering, whatever offering that we provide. I mean, yeah.
So actually, it's very funny because when we started out, the whole idea was basically creating this community, right? The whole idea was that we talk about things that nobody is talking about, and we give people a platform to kind of share the stuff that they like, connect with other people, etc. What happened was that I think around 3 months back, 4 months back, everybody was actually talking about Fenty Beauty, and it was huge and it was big and all of that. And then one huge this thing was that, oh my god, how do we actually get this in India?
Yeah.
And we both especially were really excited about the kilowatt highlighter, and we were like, how exactly do we get this? So we were actually just talking with our editor in Canada, and she said, why don't we actually do something, and how about I actually send you a few pieces? So we did like
Send you a
small-
few of my favorites.
yeah, send you a few of my favorite stuff. We actually did an Insta story about that, and then people actually started telling us, oh, why don't you get me this as well? Why don't you get me that as well? And that's literally how we launched the shop. So it was as organic as that. And then
Yeah.
we actually realized that it's a very good way of closing the loop. So for example, you're talking about brands that people find aspirational, you're talking about things that people really love. Now what better way to
It
close
doesn't,
the
yeah,
loop?
exactly. It doesn't
Yeah.
end there. Basically, I mean, like we're talking about like this is trendy, this is hot, and then like we don't live.
Yeah. Now
Our
how do you
audience
get
hanging.
it? Yeah, how do you get it?
Yeah.
So we actually, are trying to fill that gap and actually provide you stuff. So right now, we are monetizing via our shop, and we have some of our own experimental products that we've actually put out. We have a bunch of other stuff as well, and yeah, actually there are lots of other avenues.
There will
that-
be so many opportunities once we just invest, just like in a person.
yeah.
In an individual, if you keep investing in yourself,
Yeah.
I mean, like you will not be left behind. Similarly, in a community, we're investing in our beauty and fashion community, so we will never be left behind. Which means, like very soon, we want to become the go-to platform for all the tastemakers. So that's that becomes like an attractive community.
Yeah.
So
So right now there are three lines that we have. So for example, Fenty Beauty was the first thing that we launched.
that's makeup.
That's makeup, yeah. And that was actually sold out in I think a day or two, something like that. Then we actually, again, even the other thing was
Yeah.
actually quite organic. We
Yeah.
happened to sort of meet some people from Korea, and they wanted to kind of meet us because we had actually written a lot about Korean beauty, and we were one of the few people who actually understood the whole aspect of the routine, the K beauty, this, that, whatever. And we actually got an opportunity to go to Seoul and see that market really beautifully, see how it's so integrated as a part of the Korean lifestyle. And once we were there, again, we were kind of posting on Instagram, this, that, and then people actually started telling us, can you get me this from there? Can you get me
Yeah.
that? And so that's why we have a whole section on K beauty now on the shop. So broadly, we are currently looking at beauty products.
Yeah.
So that's skincare, makeup, etc. But that is just a start. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't want to be a online beauty shop. Like, that's not the idea. Whatever we find interesting, whatever our community wants, whatever is hard to access, that is the kind of thing that we're going to have on the shop.
It'll be like, not just lost of focus, but it will also
Yeah.
be like, limiting ourselves. If
Yeah.
we're going to focus on, okay, Ayurveda is big, we should also like, take advantage of that. That's not how we work. So we are working really fast. Okay, whatever works, we are going to pick it up and then like give it to our audience.
Yeah.
So our monetization, the question that you had about monetization, our
Yeah.
monetization is going to come from, yes, offerings.
Yeah.
So offerings today is content, offering today is product, tomorrow whatever offerings make sense for the community,
Yeah.
that is what we are going to look at in the future. So
And
we will not limit ourselves to a product line, to
Yeah.
a industry, to
Yeah.
a category.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
And to be honest, I mean, there is really nothing to compete on. I mean,
Yeah.
it's there are so many mammoth industries that way. I mean, we're competing with like almost everybody on the planet, where we are selling products and we are being a platform and this. So I think limiting ourselves to just one particular thing that happens to be the noisiest probably right now,
And
that doesn't really
and
make
if you look
sense.
at the individual, I
Yeah.
mean, like we're looking at the share of mind
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
So just because Ayurveda is hot doesn't mean that that person is waking up and that person is thinking about Ayurveda products. I have to
Yeah.
buy, like, I have to spend 10,000 my pocket money,
Yeah.
like 10,000 of my pocket money on
Yeah.
Ayurvedic products. That's not how they think. That's not how we think.
Yeah.
It's all about, okay, I need to go to a party. I
Yeah.
need to look good. So what are the things that I need to look good?
Yeah.
What are the topics that I need to know?
Yeah.
So this is how we look at.
Yeah.
So we don't limit ourselves.
Not doing that is suicidal. Basically, not being neutral is like the stupidest thing that we can probably do.
Yeah.
Because we are not hawkers, and we are not television evangelists, basically, kind of hawking our own stuff. The minute we start doing that, the minute we lose our honesty, sincerity, the minute the community kind of feels that we're being salespeople, it's not going to work, and that is not what we want to do either. So I think there's literally no other way for us to go forward.
yeah, exactly. It's not
Yeah.
about being neutral.
Yeah.
It's about, okay, like in-house products,
Yeah.
like we just mentioned. In-house products is not something that we launch because it's hot in the market.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we
yeah.
want it and we genuinely think it's a good product, and
Yeah.
then we launch it,
Yeah.
and the moment we think that, oh, it's lukewarm or a response, then we take it off.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
basically just like the product, we treat this like same treatment as we would
Yeah.
give to a content.
Yeah.
We don't treat a product differently. We don't treat
Yeah.
a content differently. It's
Yeah.
basically like, okay, we think it's hot. I mean, like, I'm in a mood to write about something. Let's just push it out. And then it doesn't get good response. Then we stop writing about that. Then we stop launching such products.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Basically
that's why
that,
we do
yeah.
small batches. We do
Yeah.
really fast stuff, and it's constantly kind of moving. So it's not about it's not about getting rid of stuff. It's more about, okay, what is the hottest thing right now? What is the hottest thing that we
Yeah,
can do right
exactly.
now? But at the same time, no. But see, the way we actually, and we've had a lot of discussions on this, even when it was not effective in any way, because that's what we do. But
It's all about giving it 100% in what you
Yeah.
believe in. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not about it's all about I don't
it's
know.
about the mindset, actually, is what we
Mindset,
believe.
yeah.
We are not being dismissive of the challenges and the issues that are
exists,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But then at the end of the day, if you're I think the moment somebody says woman entrepreneur is when I get pissed. I mean, it's like lady doctor,
We
lady
get
driver.
pissed. Yeah.
So yeah, that's I mean,
Yeah.
you're an entrepreneur.
You're an entrepreneur. I mean,
You
like,
know?
you're an entrepreneur, and then you were doing this because you feel like you can do it much better than the rest of the
Yeah.
guys out there.
Yeah.
So guys include female, male, both.
Yeah.
And we feel like whatever we're doing and whatever we have been doing so far,
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, like, we do it because we feel like we are the best guys to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, whenever that kind of a challenges, I mean, like it's always there. We cannot just sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah.
But like
The idea is not to kind of
we
make
just
little
focus
of,
on our strength.
Yeah, the idea
always.
is not to make little of the issues, etc., that are out there. But then the thing is that
We're not here
when
to
you're-
prove something to anybody.
Yeah. And I think when you're confident
Yeah.
about what you're saying, doing, etc., I think that reflects, because if you're talking about investors and venture capitalists and all, I think they are also always looking for, by definition, people to invest in. And I mean, you would only invest in somebody when they inspire confidence in you.
Right.
And the minute you walk in with a lot of complexes in your mind and some personal scores to settle, I think that is like one of the most ridiculous approaches that you can actually take. So the best thing is to be confident, not think about all of these things, focus on what you're there for, focus
Yeah.
on your work. So I think that would be.
So tomorrow, if that kind of a challenge comes up, I
Yeah.
mean, like somebody just dismisses that because, I mean, like,
Yeah.
yes, you guys are doing a good job, but because you guys are females, let me take slow on you guys.
Yeah.
We'll take it up as just another challenge.
Just another challenge.
Just another challenge.
Yeah.
Just another challenge that we face in house today.
Yeah.
With a contributor, with a
Yeah.
freelancer.
Yeah.
I mean, like that would be just another challenge.
Yeah.